Hey, I'm Adam Jusko, and this is Adam Answers, where we answer the burning and not so burning questions of the day. In this video, we are going to look at the social media site Parler. What is it? How does it work? Why is it being talked about? But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So Parler has been in the news as I make this video as a social media site that some people are newly embracing. Parler is spelled P-A-R-L-E-R, and it is essentially a competitor to Twitter. Works very similar to Twitter, so if you've used Twitter, you will know how to use Parler for the most part. The reason that Parler is gaining traction and people are interested in it is because it has become sort of an alternative Twitter for conservative commentators, conservative government officials, conservative news media, all that kind of stuff. So anyone who is conservative is sort of being encouraged in some ways to turn their back on Twitter, or at least think about using Parler in addition to Twitter, maybe with the idea that eventually there will be a whole, sort of conservative social network, and that Parler will be that conservative social network. Now, why do conservatives feel like they need their own social network, an alternative to Twitter and Facebook and others? It is because they feel that conservative voices are being censored and silenced, some people being kicked off of those platforms altogether, so they see Parler as a potential alternative place where they can speak freely and not have anyone censoring them. And in fact, Parler says on their website, they even used the language that I just said. They say, speak freely and express yourself openly without fear of being deplatformed for your views. In the days leading up to and right after the 2020 presidential election, many of President Donald Trump's tweets were either taken down or given an extra message by Twitter that said that they were false or that they were misleading, and many people on the conservative side felt that that was unfair and that those tweets should have just stood on their own without Twitter offering any editorial or any extra message to them to try to put them in any sort of different framework. So they saw that as being a political move by Twitter, and so Parler has sort of suggested that those same tweets maybe would not have been censored or added any extra message to them on their platform. Now, Parler did not actually start as any sort of conservative social network. It really just started as an alternative to Twitter or other social networks, but as conservatives embraced it, Parler embraced them right back. So when you go and open an account on Parler, they're going to suggest to you some people that you might follow, and it's no coincidence that most of them, if not all of them, are conservative commentators or politicians. So I went in and began an account to see kind of what was going on with Parler, and among the first people suggested to me, Sean Hannity, Ted Cruz, Devin Nunes, and a whole list of other people on the right-wing side of the political spectrum. Anyone can open an account on the Parler platform. There's certainly no test to show that you are, a conservative voice, but when all of the suggested people when you first come in are conservative voices of well-known conservative media or politicians, it obviously suggests that the people who are the most welcome are conservatives, and that is what you are going to be coming to that platform for. So in terms of how Parler works, it is essentially a red color schemed Twitter. If you've used social media before, Twitter, Facebook, any others, you're going to get it right away. You create an account, you can follow other people, you can see what they post, you can post your own things, you can comment on their posts, they can comment on yours, just like any other social media site. I went in and did a test run of it and took the first 10 suggestions of, who Parler said maybe I would want to follow, and again, they were all conservative voices, and so once you have followed them, you can look at your feed and just see in, I believe it's chronological order of whatever the most recent posts were, and you can post your own if you choose. So there's really nothing noteworthy about the Parler platform. It's really about who it is attracting and the fact that it is essentially promising it's not going to be doing any censoring of the voices on that platform. So people that maybe have been kicked off of other social media platforms for putting views out there that were deemed false or conspiracy theories or whatever, maybe can still find a home on Parler when they could not on these other social media platforms. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Parler, especially if it grows significantly. For now, it is very small in comparison to Twitter and in comparison to Facebook or other major social networks. So it's easier to sort of say that, you know, anything goes in terms of being able to have a discussion about anything and not have to worry about getting thrown off the platform. But as time goes on, if it gets bigger, and especially when you get into advertisers and, you know, how you are going to make money off of a platform like this, well, then that's when you have to wonder, will they, you know, stick to that idea that pretty much anything can be said or talked about, or are they going to have to start doing some censoring in order to make the platform seem clean enough for advertisers to want to actually put money into? So for now, the people behind Parler seem content to let conservatives sort of take over the platform and make of it what they will. Parler obviously wants to grow, and if these are the people that want to make it grow, they are going to embrace them. And because they are so small in comparison to the others, they'll go for the growth first, and whatever problems potentially may come up in the future based on who is on the platform and what they are saying on the platform, well, Parler will sort of kick that problem down the road. If they get big enough, well, then that will be the time that they can start to think about if they want to make any changes. But for now, they will sort of feed off of the desire for the alternative social network by many conservatives. That's it. Thoughts on Parler? Have you used it before? Any questions, whatever? Put them in the comments section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.